That was me.
Yeah, I guessed. I mean, for the past so many days, we've been having these meetings, and the meetings that I'm hosting, I always forget to switch the recording on. And Scott is the one who will always remind us, don't forget to record.
This time I just did it.
Thank you. Okay, so good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this event today. We are on day 11 of our 15-day plant-rich diet challenge. A one-of-a-kind first challenge that we are hosting, that is being hosted within the society or within the world of Rotary. And we are very excited about it, and we've had a bunch of wonderful talks in the past 10 days. Many of them have happened in the Asian time zones, and many of them have happened in the American time zones, but then recordings are available. So in case you can actually, all the way on day 11, you can still sign up for the rest of the 4 days. I'll just I'll type in the link for signing up for this challenge. Coming to today's event, we have a very, very interesting speaker and a presenter. We have Shalini Goenka and we have Ruchi. I will just be introducing Shalini first, because Shalini will be talking about diabetes and how a chronic disease like diabetes can be reversed. And then I will be introducing Ruchi as well after Shalini finishes her talk. So Shalini Goenka is a certified yoga instructor from the Yoga Institute Santacruz, which is in Mumbai, under Mumbai University, an ACSM certified health coach and a diabetic educator. She has been conducting yoga classes and doing nutritional consultations since 2010. Shalini does nutritional consultations at SHARAN. SHARAN is an organization in Bombay, and I'm sure Shalini will explain more, and also conducts yoga workshops, talks, seminars, and cooking classes. After losing her voice in 2005 due to ulcers, Shalini was looking for a holistic approach to take charge of her life. That's when her health journey started. Her battle with IBS and asthma took a 180-degree turn when she adopted a whole food plant-based diet. She turned to veganism for health reasons, read about this philosophy and its connection to animals and the environment. In November 2017, she attended Dr. Nandita Shah's seminar and decided that whole plant-based nutrition was something she had always been looking for, and started working with SHARAN India since the beginning of 2018. Since then, she has been helping clients reach their optimum health potentials. Her current designation at SHARAN India is that she's a consultant and a holistic health coach. So welcome, Shalini. The floor is all yours. Would you like me to make you a co-host?
Yes, please. I would like to share my screen.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you so much for inviting me on this amazing platform of Plant-Rich Diet Challenge. That's really amazing. And I'm so excited to even, log in for the next 3-4 talks, what you have now. I'll surely, zoom in for those talks. I'm really excited about it. Okay, thank you. So Ambari, thank you for introducing me. And you have already introduced quite well about me. A little more about me. So when I did my yoga teachers training in 2006, I had a lot of health issues, and I was like doing, I would say 50-60% better, but still my all health issues didn't go because I was doing yoga, I was doing meditation, pranayams, and all the possible things I could. And I thought I was eating a sattvic diet where I was eating, yes, a little milk too. I was having milk. I was an ardent fan of drinking milk thrice a day, and ardent fan of paneer, cheese, butter, ghee. And I thought I'm doing fine, but no, my problems were increasing. I was on steroids because of my asthma attacks, and I had irritable bowel syndrome, which would not go anytime in spite of doing everything. And one fine day, I met one of the doctor almost 10 years back in my neighborhood who told me that I should stop dairy. And I was taken aback that why dairy? Means I've been brought up like by having dairy throughout my life. Why should I stop dairy? And I thought might as well give it a try because things were not working for me in spite of doing everything what I could in possible my knowledge. And when I stopped having dairy, gradually eliminated milk and then cheese, butter, ghee, and paneer, I saw amazing results. I started losing weight. My asthma attacks went down. And the best part was my irritable bowel symptoms started reducing tremendously. I thought, wow, this diet is working magic for me. And as and when I was going through this, I lost tremendous weight, almost 15 kgs. And one fine day, as you said, I met Dr. Nandita, which I was really, when you see that you really want to do something or look for something, the universe conspires to get you into it, right? So I met Dr. Nandita and how that my journey started. And I'm really happy to be here. Okay. So today I'll be talking about reversing diabetes. Now this word says diabetes, and we all know that diabetes is another one of the topmost 10, killer disease in the world. So what do we all know about diabetes? Okay, so if we see this, how many people are suffering all over the world because of diabetes? Now we know COVID-19 has been a pandemic and another killer communicable disease, but a non-communicable disease like diabetes is one of the topmost. If we see this screen, North America, Caribbean, there'll be an increase by 33% by 2045. And if we see the maximum is in Africa, 19 million, there were diabetics in 2019, then 2030, 29, and by 2045, 47 million. So almost 51% increase by 2045. That's what the data of WHO says. And when you see this figure, you see like, where are we all going? So let's talk about what is diabetes exactly. What we understand about diabetes, can I have someone, want to unmute themselves and talk about what exactly they know what about diabetes, or write it in the chat box. Somebody, if you can help me with any answers.
Sure.
The deficiency of insulin in the pancreas.
Yes, right.
Your pancreas is not able to manufacture insulin.
Yes.
Mary says that there is type 1 and type 2. Scott says high blood sugar.
Yes.
Yeah, and I would say diabetes is basically, I personally feel that diabetes is like a formalization of your sugar craving. Somehow whenever somebody is, has been like said, if somebody is told that you have diabetes, their sugar cravings go through the roof, suddenly. That's what it is for me.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look what exactly diabetes is. So like what happens when we eat food in a normal human system? When we eat food, the food is broken down into sugars in a digestive system. And we see here on the screen those small gray balls. These are sugars in our bloodstream. And triangle is the insulin. So whenever the food is broken down into simple sugars or glucose, because glucose is the main source of energy which our brain recognizes. So when it is broken down to simple sugars, a signal is sent to the pancreas and insulin is released. This is a hormone. And insulin works like a key. It opens the doors of our cells where the sugar goes inside the body cell and it is stored as energy. Now here the energy is this small sparkling things, right? These are energy. So that's how we get energy when we eat food. So food is a very important part of our diet to get energy. Carbs are a very important part of our diet. But what happens in diabetes? What happens? When we eat food, it's broken down to simple sugars, glucose. A signal is sent to the pancreas to release insulin. And when this insulin key gets to the door of the cell, it can't open the door of the cell. So what we see, that small rectangular brick here is the door of the cell, which is locked. It is jammed. That is known as insulin resistance. That is, our cells do not respond to the insulin anymore. So the sugars or glucose cannot enter the cell and it remains in the blood. And that is known as high blood sugar or diabetes. So let's look at the type of diabetes, what we said here. Someone said in the answer that there are type 1, type 2, yes, and type 1 diabetes. Body does not produce enough insulin or there is no insulin at all. What happens is that our own immune system attacks the cells of the pancreas, that is beta cells, and they no longer produce insulin. They are kind of dead. So we don't have that key called insulin here. In type 2 diabetes, the body produces insulin, but it can't use it so well as it's supposed to. So sometimes you are put on medications or on insulin also. And in type 1, you have to take an external insulin either through injections or through pump. There's another type of diabetes called gestational diabetes. That's a temporary condition which even I suffered during my pregnancy, never knowing that there was something like gestational diabetes, and that would be a havoc because I thought, okay, it's okay to have diabetes because it's my hereditary. Like all my father had, my elder sister had, all my family members, they have diabetes, my siblings have it. So I thought, okay, it's normal to have diabetes and maybe it's okay. And what do I do about it? I never thought that I should do something about it. Okay, the life goes on still. So why do we think of reversing diabetes? Because when I had gestational diabetes, after delivery, I was feeling so low on energy levels. There were, some kind of anxiety, low energy levels would give me some days, low feelings of depression. I never knew what was happening to me. And then gradually when you start understanding, you understand that, yes, there is something wrong and I have to take health in my own hands. So why to reverse diabetes? Because it has many side effects. Sometimes you have, most of the people with diabetes, when they are low on sugar or high on sugar, they still have lethargy. There is weight gain, organ failure. When you have long-standing high blood sugars, they affect your organs. Lifelong prescription. I have so many family, friends, relatives in my family where the prescriptions doesn't come down. Doctor's bill keeps going up, and some people even end up in hospitalization. Why? Because high blood sugars have a lot of complications. It affects your eyes, tiny blood vessels in the eyes, retinopathy, your blood vessels in the heart, coronary artery disease, dramatically, attacks can be there, cardiovascular disease increases, their kidney failures, even the small kidney cells inside the kidney, they're affected. You can stroke. Sorry, one sec, yeah. Then you take insulin injection, then you have amputation. You have amputation, sometimes we don't know what to do and you end up in the hospital with amputation. Pregnancy complication. Luckily, I didn't have any pregnancy complication, but there are people who have, if they have uncontrolled diabetes, they have high blood pressure, then they have sometimes stillbirths, problem with the babies. Your tiny nerve damage, neuropathy sets in, erectile dysfunction, So many complications are there. So what are the current approaches for diabetes? When I had diabetes, the most simple thing I was diagnosed, doctor told me, okay, simply have certain medications, a small dose of metformin that will take control. And most of us do it. Suppose if we go for an annual checkup or something, we just go to the doctor gives us medication and the life goes on. Normally our sugar levels are in control, not knowing what are the side effects of those medicines also. So what is the usual approach? Doctors give you medicines and you start managing your diabetes. What we at SHARAN do. So we at SHARAN, we manage any disease, be it diabetes, high blood pressure, or any other obesity, or your cardiovascular disease through change in diet and lifestyle. Now, SHARAN is an acronym that stands for Sanctuary for Health and Reconnection to Animals and Nature. And we have thousands of clients from all over the world. And we treat all those clients through change in the diet and lifestyle. And we gradually see the decrease in the medications. And sugar levels is the first thing that comes down quickly with the change within few weeks of changing of your diet and lifestyle. Yes, diabetes is reversible. And we have a lot of work our Dr. Nandita Shah is doing, and I'll talk about it later. So yes, when we say diabetes is reversible, then why the numbers are also increasing? We just saw the second slide where people all over the world are suffering from diabetes. Okay, so how do you reverse it when we say, yes, diabetes is reversible? Very simple. So when you have diabetes, you might be having symptoms like lethargy, then you have frequent urination, headaches, nausea, or, low, unexplained weight loss sometimes, or as diabetes associated with many other metabolic issues like high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, and many other things. And when we see the symptoms, doctors gives us the medicine, okay, you control this blood pressure, you control this sugar levels, and so on. Do we really go to the root cause of the problem? Because we know one problem is associated with another in the body, because everything is interconnected. It's not isolated that you have just diabetes and you are not obese, or you don't have fat cells, or you don't have fatty liver or something like that. Something or the other is always connected with it. It's just like if we don't go to the root cause, we are just taking out a bucket of water or a mug of water from a wash basin, and we are not closing the tap, or we are not cleaning the clogged pipeline which is there in the wash basin. So we need to go to the root cause of the problem.
Number नीचे से हमारे पास है.
Okay. So the first and the major cause of diabetes I'm going to talk about today is fat. Now, how fat? Now, let me use a simple analogy here. Suppose you have gone on a holiday and you have locked your house, and some prankster comes, once you are away, that comes and jams the lock of your house with the chewing gum, right? And when you come back, you try to open the door of the lock and you are not able to open it. Similarly, our muscle cells in the body are jammed, not here with the gum, but they are jammed with the fat, mitochondrial fat. So when we saw that slide of diabetes where the insulin can't open the door of the cell, is there where the fat deposition takes place. So fat is one of the major cause of diabetes. But where does your fat comes from? It comes from all kind of refined foods you're eating, from all the dairy products you eat, cheese, butter, your refined products like milk and other packaged foods. All refined products, they have fat in it. Chemicals. Now, chemicals are there in all the kind of packaged food because they put some kind of preservatives too, and chemicals to keep up the shelf life and the palatability or the taste of the food. Then you have chemicals all around you. You have in your home care products. You have in your personal care products, the makeup which you use, the shampoos, your toothpaste, shampoos. Then, of course, lack of exercise. Vitamin D is a hormone, and we know diabetes is a hormonal issue. And if one hormone goes out of balance, it affects the whole hormonal imbalance of your body. Stress is another major factor. So when you're under stress, your body raises the blood sugar levels and it needs energy, and thus increases your insulin levels, and glucagon and adrenaline are also increased at the same time, which makes you go under stress. Then of course, mindset. We have certain mindsets. Okay, diabetes is hereditary or something. It's okay to have diabetes post at the age of mid-age 40 or 50, and then we just, go on living with it. We don't want to understand what's the root cause and how to, even if we can reverse it. Conditioning by society. Okay. So then, are you ready for the lifestyle change? It is really reversible. What kind of lifestyle change you need to do? And that's what happened with me when I was like seeing my problems, spiraling up, and time and again, I was going to the doctor, taking medications and steroids. I said, something I need to do. There has to be certain things I need to get rid of, or certain things I need to do in my lifestyle. So it's kind of a shift in your consciousness and certain lifestyle changes you need to do. What we at SHARAN have a 5-point plan. First is that you go plant-based. Now, when I say plant-based, what does exactly plant-based means? That means all your animal products like meat, eggs, dairy, even honey is out of your diet. And what you can eat are nuts, seeds, legumes, grains, whole lot of fruits and vegetables. In fact, I started eating more variety food when I went plant-based rather than when I was having, just simple vegetarian diet of milk. I was like all the time having milk, cheese, butter, and few grains and very little veggies. The moment I went plant-based, I had variety of fruits, veggies. My meals went so colorful over a period of time. Okay, then whole foods. Now, exactly whole food means what? When I'm talking about whole foods, that means you eat everything as the nature has given us. So what the nature has given us, an apple, right? Whole. When I say whole, we don't peel that apple. We don't peel our vegetables. So I eat an apple as it is with the peel because the nutrients are right beneath the peel. I eat my carrots and cucumber with the peel because it has fiber and nutrients. And nutrients are spare parts of healing. So that's the reason I say whole. I eat my grains with the bran. I eat my lentils whole. Then third point is you go organic. When I want to heal my body, why do I need more poison like pesticides or chemicals or preservatives going into my body? We are the only, we are the species, human beings, who just keep spraying our food with poison. We see a farmer covering their own mouth and then spraying it with the poison. And the farmer himself doesn't eat that, grain or vegetable what he's growing. He has a separate thing because he knows it's a poison. Maybe sometimes unknowingly a government is giving subsidies to the farmers saying that these pesticides or fertilizers are the medicines for your vegetables. And then once the soil is spoiled, it's very difficult to go back to an organic way of farming. So let's get into the way of eating one of the most healthiest food as nature has given us, simply organic without any pesticides or chemicals. Then vitamin D. Now we know diabetes is a hormonal issue and vitamin D is also hormones. And vitamin D not only have side effects if you have a low vitamin D levels, not only for your diabetes, but a host of other things like from simple diabetes to even cancer. So you have to take care of vitamin D. If you are low in vitamin D, you need to supplement it. And take care of your vitamin B12. Now, vitamin B12 is anyone can be deficient in it, whether you are on a plant-based diet or you're on a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian diet. Anyone can be deficient in it. And even low levels of vitamin D can play havoc with your health, like you have nerve issues, you have depression, and many mental health issues too. So this is a 5-point plan we SHARAN follow strictly to get on a lifestyle healthy change. So when we say go plant-based, first step is that you completely cancel all the animal products from your diet and you switch to completely plant-based diet. That is everything that we get from nature and nothing that is made in the plant or machineries. Now, why I say plant-based? Why we say plant-based? Now, you must have heard many, speakers before also, because plant-based diets are cholesterol-free. Where do you get cholesterol from? Liver. And all animals and we human beings make our own cholesterol. We don't need extra from any other dairy products or meat or eggs or any other thing. And we know what are the side effects and the problems we have when you have high cholesterol in our diet. Then plant foods are very high in fiber, and fiber acts as a broom to clean our body. It sticks to the fat and the sugars, and it takes out all the fat and sugar out of your body. And it's a good food for the friendly gut bacteria in our intestine. And of course, plant food is high in nutrients, and we know nutrients are spare parts of healing. It's alkaline in nature. No disease can thrive in an alkaline environment. So the more plant food we eat, the more our body is alkaline in nature. And of course, when we go organic, it is chemical free. No more packaged foods than we eat. So what does it mean when I say plant-based? Now, plant and whole means. Whole means that your food is not polished. You eat unpolished rice. Your food is not extracted. Now, nature gives us coconut and not coconut oil, right? So coconut oil is extracted of fiber. Nature has given us coconut with the fiber. Whole means your food is not juiced. So when you eat an apple or an orange, you eat it as it is. You don't juice it and eat it. You eat it with the fiber. It is not strained. Your fruits and veggies are not peeled. It is not refined. Food is whole when it's not polished, when it is not extracted, not juiced, not strained, refined, or peeled. And when you go organic, you eat the healthiest food on the earth without chemicals, pesticides, or fertilizers. And vitamin D is a sunshine vitamin which we get from sun. And our body produces that vitamin D when our skin is exposed to the sun. But how much in our city life, how much we all are exposed to the sun, and especially in this pandemic. And I know a couple of my clients and few people in my family who had very low vitamin D throughout the pandemic. They could not get the blood test done, and they ended up with a low vitamin D levels and a lot of other health issues. Same with vitamin B12. If you have a deficiency, a simple blood test will tell you that you have a vitamin B12 deficiency. So if you have a vitamin D or a B12 deficiency, do supplement it. It's very important to do that. So what people think is difficult, cooking your own food, cutting, chopping, or growing your own organic veggies. They think it's difficult, but what is difficult, we know. Getting hospitalized and all those surgeries and medications, that is more difficult. Okay. So when we talk about reversing diabetes, not only we at SHARAN do about reversing diabetes, all over the world we have doctors. We have Dr. Neil Barnard program for reversing diabetes, which is scientifically proven system. We have Gabriel Cousins who have been doing this work, and we have our own Dr. Nandita Shah, who has written this book on reversing diabetes in 21 days. And we have proven testimonials on our website, and every year we have 21-day retreat in Goenka in Karnataka, where we have a whole lot of participants coming from all over the world, and we get all their blood tests done initially just the day they land, and after 21 days, when they are going away from the retreat, they go, suppose if a person is coming with 10 to 15 medications, they just go out with 4 to 5 medications, just simply turning on a plant-based diet. So we at SHARAN can help in many ways. We have consultations. We have online diabetes reversal programs going on. We have online and offline seminars and cooking classes. Throughout the pandemic, we had a whole lot of cooking classes, and people from all over the world were coming to attend on a Zoom. It was really fun having cooking classes, even online. Then we have every year 21-day retreat at Goenka, as I just spoke. And we have a lot of publications and books. We have a website. We have very exhaustive. We have a lot of material on our website. We have books which you can download from our website. More than 500, 600 recipes on our website. So let thy food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Why do we need to go on medicines when we can just have one of the healthiest foods our nature has given us? Thank you.
Thank you, Shalini. Thank you so much. We do have a second part to this event where Ruchi is going to be demonstrating 2 diabetic-friendly recipes, and I'm very excited. I can see Ruchi setting it up. But in the meantime, does anybody have any questions? We can of course ask questions even during the cooking demonstration as well. But anybody with a question on top of their heads right now? Hi, Nita. Yes, your question.
Nita has raised her, yeah.
Yeah. You are muted, Nita. Nita, you are muted. You are muted. Let me ask you to. You're muted again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now, so many here many people who are diagnosed with diabetes, they are advised to be on a millet diet. So, can you elaborate something more on the millets? The barnyard
yes,
millet.
Definitely millets are anytime.
And
yes.
Actually,
millets.
I have one of the dietitian, my friend who is diabetic. So her dietitian has advised her to consume less amount of wheat and follow a millet-based diet.
Yes, definitely. We also recommend millets because millets are something which have been grown in India for centuries ago. And wheat has, what we get wheat here is genetically modified, and wheat certainly most of the times most of the 90% of the people, they don't have gluten allergy, which we are not aware of. Wheat has that protein called gluten. It has gluten allergy and it seeps into your body slowly, creating a whole lot of problems. And millet, as per se, has a lot of fiber and a very high nutrients. And they have low GI, low glycemic index. And when you consume millets, when you consume millets, they very slowly spike your blood sugars. They don't shoot up it. So if you're consuming millet, it's always good. And one of the foremost thing you want to be very careful when you're consuming millet is that we have many different types of millets like barnyard, pearl millet, little millet. So consume, when you're starting with the millet, start with just 1 millet at a time, because if you start with 2 or 3 minutes, like in the morning, if I have barnyard millet, in the evening, I have a foxtail millet. I don't know if my stomach goes for a toss or some discomfort. I don't know which millet has caused that discomfort. So when you're going on a millet diet, and it's good that you're going on a millet diet, and there is always a process on millet cooking. So where you need to soak it properly for 12 hours and then dry it and then consume it, because you need to activate those enzymes when you're consuming millet. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Nita?
Okay, I think she says thank you. I can read her lips.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nita, for asking this.
Can I interrupt one more question?
Sure.
Yes. Now, talking about wheat, now there is something called emmer wheat that is come into my knowledge, that it is good for the diabetes. Not the regular wheat, the emmer wheat.
Yeah, emmer, which is also known as khapli wheat, you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Emmer wheat is now quite popular among this diet because it has a very low gluten content. Some 2 to 5% of gluten is there. So that's why they say emmer wheat is much better for diabetic. It's diabetic friendly, yeah. Or maybe for any other disease, emmer wheat is good because it has low gluten content.
Diabetic, can the person consume one meal of millets and one meal with emmer wheat, made something from emmer wheat? Since you
You
you said
can,
that
but also now
sorry, you're not audible at all.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yes,
Shalini,
you
your
can
audio.
consume, but again, can you hear me? Sorry, there's some
Yeah, I can hear you, but
internet
there is a,
connection. Can you hear me
yeah,
now?
Yes,
yes,
yes.
better. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So you can consume wheat, emmer wheat, and you can consume millet, but again depends upon your sugar levels, how much your doctor has asked you to control either your, carb content or, the kind of food you are eating, whether it's more carb oriented or you are mixing it more with your raw veggies, something like that. So you need to, maybe consult with your doctor exactly how much you are allowed to eat. But definitely emmer wheat is much better than the regular wheat.
Well, that is not easily also available. That is not as easily available
Emmer
as the
wheat?
regular wheat. Yes, yes.
But it is now available in the market, at least in Bombay and other cities, metro cities, you are getting it. And online also you get it. Emmer wheat
Online,
is
yes, of
now
course.
quite
Yes,
available.
available
Yeah.
online, not in the grocery shops as yet.
Okay.
Okay, so can I just ask a question, Shalini? So it is often, I've heard this, that if you're diabetic, you have to lower your carbohydrate intake, and it's more like a generic instruction, medical instruction that comes from probably medical instruction that sometimes even comes from non-medical people, that don't eat so much carbs. You eat you have a lot of protein, which basically means animal protein. That's the normal way of handling diabetes for many people. So what do you have to say about this low carb, high protein trend that is happening for the past couple of years to handle diseases and weight loss and all of those chronic issues?
Yes, definitely carbs. Like we, even at one point of time, even before like coming on this diet, even I was going on a lower carb and high protein. But I realized that, you see, carbohydrates, they are like, they give us energy, glucose. They are the main source of our energy our body recognizes. Now, when we say low carb, it's like people have this myth that when you go on a low carb, you will get your sugar levels controlled. Definitely, you will get into control for the time, but how much low you can go into and just live on proteins or just on a high fat or a high protein diet? Because if you don't eat your carbs, you won't get your glucose, right? And if you don't get your glucose, how your body is going to function it. Now, when you talk about carbs, we need to understand that what kind of carbs we are eating. Are we eating the refined carbs or are we eating the complex carbs? And we believe the more complex carbs you eat, that is, complex carbs means which has low GI, that means it has high in fiber. So if you're eating the right kind of carbs, then you don't have to count that how much, like you're eating 60% carb or 20% protein or 20% fat. You just see the right kind of food you are eating. So when you're eating carbs, like they say, diabetics even can't eat fruits for that matter, right? Yeah. Certain fruits you can't eat, bananas or custard apple or mangoes.
Mango,
but
yeah.
Yes, mango. So you won't believe, when we have a 21-day retreat, we have people from all over and they are gorging on mangoes, 5, 6 mangoes per day. So it's also the combination how you eat. Like when you're eating a complex carb, you're eating with the fiber, so it won't spike your blood sugar so much. When you're eating a fruit like a mango or a custard apple, have it as a meal by itself. Don't combine it with any cooked meal. So you can have it between your breakfast or a lunch, or between your lunch or a dinner, by a meal in itself, so that it won't spike your sugar so much, right? Yeah. Therefore, definitely when you are eating a meal, see that 1/4 of your plate is fiber and not more than 1/4 of your plate is grains. It should be, not more than 1/4 of your grains. So see how proportionately you can balance your meal so that you can have your carbs also, you can have your protein, you can have your fats, and everything in moderation. So moderation is the key.
Sure, thank you. So we will continue our Q&A, but I'd like Ruchi to start off. But before that, let me just introduce Ruchi Singh to everybody. She is our second presenter. I will just introduce her in 1 second as soon as my computer, okay. Yeah, so Ruchi Singh, she is a facilitator at SHARAN, India. Ruchi Singh has been an ardent student of health and nutrition. She has been practicing yoga as well. We have like 2 yoginis here since early years, but her sudden weight gain and other growing physical problems made her realize that her search to find a perfect equilibrium between her body and mind is still far from being over. She attended Dr. Nandita Shah's full-day seminar in Mumbai and soon incorporated the changes in her diet that made a whole lot of difference to her problems as well. By bringing nutrition-rich, wholesome diet, day-to-day episodes of acidity, morning heaviness, bloating, allergies were taken care of, and she felt more energetic and started losing weight as well. Ruchi has taken up the vision of SHARAN India by being a part of the teaching team and conducting amazing cooking classes as she is completely motivated to their goals of life without medicines. Wow, I really like that, life without medicines. How wonderful that life is going to be. So thank you so much and welcome, Ruchi. Do you want to say something or you want to straight start the cooking? What would you like to do?
Yeah, I can just introduce myself as you've already given the introduction. You see me? Sound audible?
Yeah, your voice is a little, it is breaking a little bit, but I think it's okay. Now it's okay.
Okay. So as Amreen has already introduced me, I started my whole food plant-based journey almost 4 years back.
Ruchi, you're not audible at all. I think you're not audible at all. Did you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry for that. Yeah, I was muted. So my whole food plant-based, yeah, it's fine now. It started almost 4 years back and lost almost 12 to 14 kgs of weight, and my day-to-day episodes of bloating and a lot of other issues like feeling heavy, feeling bloated instantly, immediately after having food and things like that just completely went away because I realized the power of eating raw, and I started eating more and more fruits, more and more vegetables, incorporated a lot of vegetables in my diet, a lot of salads, and that has done wonders to me as a which we make it in butter, there is no sugar and nothing, and still we can enjoy our desserts and our savories as such. So the first recipe which I'm sharing with you is cheeseling recipe, and cheeseling has been my favorite since the childhood, and I was introduced when I was young, and but I could not eat when I went on the whole food plant-based diet. But now we have come up with a version of eating whole food plant-based cheeselings, and let me share the recipe with you. These are the ingredients. If you can just, the top view, can you see them, the ingredients?
No, we can't. We can, I can see,
Ruchi,
I can see.
Yeah, you need to adjust your camera a little, the top view camera.
I think you need to switch the side.
Yeah, just a minute.
Sure. So cheeselings, cheese without dairy. That's amazing. I also make a cheese sauce actually for my kids. That's made of course, no dairy, but it's made of cashew nuts and nutritional yeast, mainly with some lemon and salt and some spices. Goes really well for pasta and pizzas, just as a dip. Yeah, we can see your face now, Ruchi, on the top view. Yes, yes, now it's visible. I think the top view camera. Oh yeah, you're back. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So these are the ingredients that I'm using. This is the amaranth flour that I'm using. And this is also called the pseudo millet. Somebody was asking about the millets. And this is amaranth is called the pseudo millet. This I'm using the flour today. This is the cashew powder, which is the cashews roasted and then powdered. And this is the nutritional yeast. Okay. And nutritional yeast, I'm just going to show you the packet because this is the packet of nutritional yeast. And this is not the bread yeast, so this is only used for flavorings and this is not used to make breads. And you can buy it very easily, very conveniently on the Amazon. And it's very tasty. It can also be used to make the salad dressings. So these ingredients plus some salt I'm going to use. And I'm sure you will have the recipe. So you can just, use those ingredients according to that. And this is some salt and some basil, the dried basil I'm using. In case you don't have dried basil, you can also use any other dried herbs or a mix of herbs according to your convenience and choice. So it's really easy. I'm just going to mix all the dry ingredients together. And then by using a little bit of water, just make it into a dough, a semi-hard dough. Like you usually, if you would make it for the chapati or the paranthas at home. So I'll just add some water. So instead of the amaranth, what other flours you think you can use? Any suggestions?
I would say, are you going to bake it?
Yes.
So probably quinoa flour, oat flour.
Yes. You can use that. You can use the buckwheat flour.
Buckwheat flour, yeah.
You can use the jawar flour. So if you want to do the gluten-free, you can use either of these flours.
So basically flour out of any whole grain is most of the, okay.
Yes, if you want to do it gluten-free. Otherwise, you can definitely use whole wheat also, as somebody had mentioned the emmer wheat. Even that can be used.
Somebody asks, what is the substitute for cashew flour? Is there a substitute for cashew flour in this recipe?
Yes, you can use the roasted peanut flour. You can use the roasted almond flour.
And if somebody wants to go totally nut-free, can they
use the date butter? Yes, you can use the peanut powder. The roasted peanut powder.
And if somebody chooses to go nut-free,
yeah, so peanut is a legume. It's not a nut.
So can something like a seed powder, let's say pumpkin seed powder or sunflower seed powder, do you think those might also work?
Yeah, those also. You can use desiccated coconut powder also.
Okay, that's great.
So basically, why I'm using cashew is because cashew gives a cheesy flavor. Everybody loves cashews, and when you combine it with the nutritionals, it gives a very nice, flavor and taste to it.
Yeah, and it's very dairy-like, right? It becomes very close to dairy cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, and so especially for the people who are transitioning from eating dairy, and we used to love our dairy, so it's difficult for us to completely have a completely different taste which does not even match that. So if you slowly transition yourself, then it'll be more comfortable and easier for you. So my dough is ready.
Okay.
Ideally, you can just keep it covered for about 10 minutes. But right now, I'm just using it because I have to finish the recipe also. So I would just take a small ball, just like you would make a chapati, and would roll it between the parchment sheets. So I've just applied
coating. Okay.
Yes, I've just applied a little bit of dry flour here.
The amaranth flour, or
yes, you can use the amaranth flour.
Okay.
And keep it in between the two parchment sheets. So parchment sheet is just a minute. I use parchment sheet. We use parchment sheet when we are baking because our baked products does not stick to the paper then. Otherwise, when you use the butter paper, our product, it usually sticks to the paper. So parchment is a very good option when you're baking. So just the thickness, you can keep it at 1/4 of an inch.
Okay.
And then once it's rolled out, you can just cut into desired shapes and then bake. So what I do is when I'm making, so I usually have all of these cut and ready, and after they are ready, then at that time I switch on my oven so that I can bake all of them at a single go. Because it does take time for you to roll them out and then cut into the desired shapes and keep them baking.
Right.
So after it is been rolled out, then just take either a knife or a pizza cutter. And since we are making cheeseling here, so let's just give them the shape of a cheeseling. And then you can preheat your oven at 180 degrees and bake them for about 10 to 12 minutes. And in between, you can also, overturn them so that they are evenly baked from both the sides. You have to keep an eye on them since the size is small. So, if your oven is getting too hot, it might burn also. So every oven is individual, it comes to temperature at a different, there is always an up and down. So always go by the timing that your oven is set at. So these are my cheeseling shapes.
And can they be air fried as well? Can you use air fryer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can use the air fryer. Air fryer takes lesser time, so they should be done in about, say, 7 to 8 minutes. Otherwise, you can always bake them a little longer if you want to have them a more crispy, or they should be definitely crispy. So just bake them for a couple of more minutes. So you can just, pick them up. and then start baking them. Okay, I'll show you what
Yeah.
I've already baked.
Wow.
And they are really crispy. I don't know if you can hear the sound.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're super
they'll go
tasty.
really good even in children's lunch, I mean snack boxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can have slightly
And
bigger. You want it in the shape of crackers or smaller, if in case you want cheeselings. But yes.
fantastic.
Any questions about this, or I can start with
Yeah.
the next recipe?
Anybody wants to ask any questions about any of the ingredients or anything that you did? Any queries? Okay. Yeah, I think we can go on with and if anybody has any questions for Shalini as well, please feel free to ask. Just unmute yourself and you can ask, or you can write it in if you're a shy person. Please don't be shy.
So the next recipe that we're doing is the pumpkin cupcakes.
Pumpkin cupcakes.
Pumpkin cinnamon cupcakes, yes. So for this, I'm using the jawar flour, and even this can be substituted with the other millet flours, or you can use the amaranth flour also.
So jawar, for those who don't know what is jawar, so jawar is basically an Indian grain, which is very similar to buckwheat, I would say. And it's just very, very healthy. And I think she's just made a flour out of the whole grain. And then we have jawar flour.
You also get it in the form of flour, and all
Flour
these
as well,
flours are
yeah,
and easily available in the markets, and also in organic brands. Since we consume mostly organic, and we have lots of organic brands which are coming up, and there is a red amaranth or the red jawar and the white jawar. So both are equally nutritious, and you can use any one of them. So I have already seen my, yes.
No, Neeta and Shalini just helped me by saying jawar is actually sorghum. Yeah.
Yes, it is sorghum. Yes. So I have already sieved my jawar flour along with the baking soda, baking powder, cinnamon powder, nutmeg powder, ginger powder, which is already being mentioned in the recipes, the quantities that I'm using. So you have to basically sieve all of them together along with the refined, unrefined salt, so that there are no lumps. Otherwise, usually when you're baking, the lumps come and they don't, taste that well. So they're all sieved once or twice. You can sieve them, and this is the dry ingredients which are ready. So this is my pumpkin, the grated pumpkin here, and I'm going to just add in the grated pumpkin.
So
when
this
you're
is
using
one
the pumpkin,
easy way to include pumpkin in children's diets as well. I'm sorry, I can only think of things that my kids are going to be eating. It's just they've conditioned me like that. So
yes.
This looks like an easy way to include pumpkin in their diets. A delicious way.
Yes. So when you're grating the pumpkin, even for the cakes, as Shalini has already spoken about the whole food, the benefits of the whole food, we don't also peel the pumpkin when you're using it for the desserts also. So you can grate even the unpeeled pumpkin and use it. Next, we are going to make our wet ingredient or the wet plant. The wet ingredients, and I'm going to add, this is the banana, which is the 1/4 of a cup. So I have taken half the quantity of the recipe, which it must be looking a little lesser. Now these are the dates, which is half a cup packed dates, would mean you can add the dates and then press them down. And these are all without seeds. So just add them. These are my, this is the flax seed or the flax powder. And
Did you
this
have
is
to
the
soak
desiccated
the
coconut.
dates? Ruchi, did you have to soak the dates?
No, I did not soak the dates because I'm using the kimia dates, which are fudgy dates. So if you're using the soft fudgy dates, you don't need to soak them. And right now I'm going to blend it with the coconut milk. So since they're not hard, they're going to blend well. In case you're using very hard dates, in that case, you can just soak them for like half an hour or 1 hour. But otherwise, it's advisable if you can use the fudgy dates when you're baking, especially the desserts and the cakes.
Sure.
And this is the milk that I'm adding. So the recipe of the coconut milk is also given to you in the sheet. Please refer to that and you can make your own coconut milk at home.
And I'm just trying to attach that sheet right here in the chat box. But yeah, Ruchi, if you can, after these, if you could just send me the recipes again, or just post it here.
Okay, I'll do that. Once my demo is over, I'll do
Yeah, sure.
So instead of sugar, since we are not using sugar, we've used dates to sweeten our dessert. And dates and banana, of course. In case you don't have a banana, a ripe banana, you can also use apple, again, unpeeled apple.
Just make a blend, I mean, blend it, make a paste with it, like an applesauce.
Yes. Now, this is the paste which is ready. Now, we're also adding some apple cider vinegar. This will also help raising our baked product. Since we're not using any egg and butter here. So flax meal that we use is an egg replacer. The banana that we use is again an oil and an egg replacer. So we have all the ingredients in the vegan cooking and the whole food plant-based cooking which replaces the dairy products. So I'm just going to add this wet to my dry ingredients and mix it all together. And meanwhile, when you're mixing it, you can preheat your oven at 180 for about 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay.
Now, when you're mixing both wet and dry ingredients, ensure that you're mixing everything together so that no dry lumps remain. And also, don't over mix it. Because then your baked product would come out harder. I'll just mix it with my hands. Shalini, you can post the recipes on the chat box. It's from the mail, please.
Yeah, Ruchi, I think there's some error because in the document there's only the cover page. I'm not able to locate
there's
the
another
recipe,
mail.
so you
You can
need to
just
send
check.
it again. Okay, I just.
Yeah.
Another mail. Okay. Let me check also.
So just mix everything well together And then you can just put it in the individual modes and bake it for about 35 to 40 minutes. You can also check it with the toothpick. If the toothpick comes out clean, that means your product is ready.
So how many cupcakes come out of this much? 4 or 6?
Yeah, so it depends on the size of the cupcake mold that you're using. This ideally, if this much batter, it would be about 6. So double of it, the whole recipe would make about 12 to 14. And I'll show you the different cupcakes, liners and molds that you can use. So I have these here and a few things that I also want to show you. So these are ideal if you're baking regularly at home, to have these, measuring cups with you, measuring spoons with you. And these are a few, some nice small liners, as we've been talking about children. So this is like 1 by 2 by molds. These are the silicone molds that you can use. And these are some nice fancy molds that you can use. Another thing, keep in mind, don't bake in aluminium, because aluminium, when you heat it, it leaches in your food. So if you have an aluminium mold in your house, always line it with a parchment paper. And even your baking trays are non-stick materials. So if you're baking on the non-stick trays, like instant for the crackers, always line it with a parchment paper, and then don't put your product directly on the tray. Because again, the coating, which is the, the non-stick coating, is really not good for you. So I'm going to put them into this small mold, because I don't want to bake them like too big.
Yeah.
And ideally, you can fill them about 3/4, but since they don't rise too much, and once you put them in the mold, just tap it. So in case there are any air bubbles in between, they just settle down. Okay. And if you're putting them in bigger molds, then so since I've already one batch ready to show you, you just tap it down and then bake it. Next, I'm going to talk to you about the frosting that we can do. So these are the ingredients for the frosting. This is some soaked cashews. These are again kimia dates. So if you see the kimia dates, they're very soft and fudgy, so they don't need soaking. Then these are the cinnamon powder, nutmeg powder, some salt. And this is the cashew butter again, which is made at home. Very easy to make at home. Again, the recipe is there in the recipe sheet that we're going to send it to you. And you can very easily make all the nut butters, seed butters, or anything, all the butters and all the milk at home. You don't need to buy it, because when you buy it from the market, once it will come with chemicals and it'll be very expensive. So it's always better you make them at home and just make a little bit of it, finish it, and then make a fresh batch out of it. So I've already made the dressing, the frosting, and it's ready with me. So this is how the frosting will come. Okay, and I'm going to show it to you and dress the cupcakes that I've already prepared for you. So these I made in the small molds. You can see the size of it, and I just put some frosting on it. The rest I will just frost it in front of you. So these are the, the paper bags, the bags or the piping bags which come in the market. You can buy these, or if you don't want to buy it, it's okay. You can just use a plastic bag and then use pointed side, just cut a small size position. If you have this nozzle, you can use that. Otherwise, even without the nozzle, you can just pipe it.
How long does this stay? Like in the fridge? Can we freeze them? What is the storage procedure like?
So if you want to store them, you put like 4 days container, because you don't keep them open because they dry out faster. The fresher you eat, the better it is. You can definitely freeze them. Also, again, just instructions, freezing, taking the precautions. And then you can also just sprinkle some cinnamon powder and some chopped walnuts on this.
Nice.
And enjoy.
Wow, that's fantastic. And so easy.
Yeah. So instead of pumpkin, like you can also use carrot, right? And if you don't want to use pumpkin, you can use a carrot also.
Then they become carrot muffins. Scott asks, are these recipes up on the website of SHARAN India?
No, not these.
Not this.
So
Okay.
we're going to give it to you. We're going to give these recipes to you in case they're not already posted. I'm going to do it just now.
Yeah, and I'll post it right away as well. And also, if you have signed up for our 15-day plant-rich diet challenge, then you will also get it in your next email, which is going to be tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, Ruchi, if we are done with this, is there any other question anybody wants to ask about the talk we had on reversing diabetes or this diabetic-friendly cooking? Anybody wants to ask anything? Wow, it looks so good. Okay, I think, okay, Scott says this is a beautiful demonstration, very well done, and I agree. If you can send the recipes, then I can attach it right here. And also later on, I'm going to be, you're going to be getting it in your daily emails as well. Just try to.
I'm just doing it.
In the meantime, thank you so much, everybody, for joining this evening and morning. It's very early morning. Neeta says, waiting to try these recipes. Both the recipes look yummy. Neeta, if you sign up for this challenge, which we don't have a lot of time left, but we have like about 5 days left, you can access a lot of other recipes as well. I conducted a demonstration a couple of days ago where the focus was on chickpeas. So I had created 3 chickpea recipes, and then there was another demonstration by a chef on pastas. So if you are keen, you can join in here. I'll just write it down, WTiny. You can just sign up. You will get access to all of these recipes. And Ruchi's recipe, I'm just going to be signing in here. I'm sending in here. What do we? Oh.
I mean, I'm not able to copy paste here. So I'm going to send these recipes, mail them to you again, and you can.
Yeah, mail them to me. Yeah, please mail it to me. Scott says that these demonstrations are available forever for everybody to watch and learn from. Yes, that's true. So as I was saying that it is Manish. Hi, Manish. Manish says, well done. Thank you for sharing your enthusiasm and demonstrations for plant-rich diets and another awesome speaker series. Thank you. Ajay, thank you so much. We hope to see you again. We have our next talk also happening in the let me just check. Let me tell you what it is about. It is going to be a talk on, that's going to be probably moderated by a friend of mine who's in the US. I don't know whether it is Scott or Mike or Andrea who's going to be moderating that. But we have a couple of more fabulous fabulous talks which are lined up. So if you have not
8 p.m.
yet,
Eastern.
sorry, Scott.
It's 8 p.m. Eastern. Transitioning to a plant-based diet. What you need to know to get started.
Yeah. Yes, that is what.
So that would be what, tomorrow morning for you?
Yes, that will be tomorrow morning for us. Yes, that's right. But for India, it's going to be like really early in the morning. I'm just pasting our website, our Facebook page. You can like this page and stay updated about all the events coming up. And Ruchi, will you be able to? Are you able to email it to me?
Yeah, I've sent them to you. You can just
You did?
check.
Okay, let me just check and I'll try and put it in here. Yeah, I do not seem to, I don't think I got it. Refresh. Ruchi, I don't think I received it. Did you send it on my on ambari@gmail.com? Sorry.
I've sent it on the group we were having the conversation on.
Zoom here. Did you send it here?
On the group, group email that we were, having the conversation on.
We were having a conversation. Okay. Is it possible for you to just send it to me, because I'm not sure where.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Just send it to me here, ambari@gmail.com. Thank you everybody who joined in. And if you can stay back for another couple of minutes, I'll just send the recipes to you. Otherwise, you'll get them anyway tomorrow in the daily emails.
Okay, send, please check.
Sure. Yes, I got it now. No, that's not yours. For some very, very strange reason, I haven't received it. But I guess we will just have to coordinate offline and get the recipes, and probably you can get it in your daily email, which will be sent to you tomorrow. It's very strange. Okay, I got it now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes, here it is. Just give me a second. I'm sending it right here. Yep, it's been sent in the chat box. Thank you so much, Ruchi. Thank you so much, Shalini, for your time, and everybody, thank you for joining. We have another wonderful event coming up, which will be morning for us in Asia, and it's going to be evening in the US. But that's going to be about how to smoothly transition to a plant-based diet. And if you cannot attend it, don't worry. I mean, try to attend it live, but then if you're not able to, because the time is inconvenient, then you're going to get the recording available. And with that, I think we are done for today's event. If anybody has, Scott, you can stop the recording now.